Hello and welcome. My name is Lakshmi Vijay Kumar. Once again, I'm here to welcome you on the fifth day of Diversity Mahotsav. It's absolutely a thrilling day for all of us here at Avatar as we celebrate our 24th anniversary, 24 years of being in the space of diversity, equity, and inclusion, 24 years of being in the space where we celebrate diversity, where we celebrate you. Hello, everyone, my dear audience. It is my absolute pleasure and honor to welcome you all on behalf of Team Avatar to Diversity Mahotsav 2024. My name is Lakshmi Vijay Kumar. Some of you may have seen me over emails and WhatsApp communications. Yes, I lead the events at Avatar, and it's my privilege to be your host today. For a seamless webinar virtual experience, I would urge all of you to go through a few hygiene checks, which includes to close all your applications on the computer other than the Zoom for sure. And if you are logged into your organization's VPN, please log out of your organization's VPN. That will help you conserve internet bandwidth. So before we move on, I would like to thank our partners. I would like to thank our Innovation Catalyst partner, EPAM Systems, our supporting partners, Crizzle, Genesis, and Zuchi Systems. My dear audience, in case you have missed any of our previous episodes, here is the QR code for you to quickly scan and go to our YouTube channel to watch our previous episodes. And yes, today's episode is also being streamed live on our YouTube channel. And do not forget to mention us on your social media channels, hashtag Diversity Mahotsav, hashtag Celebrating Diversity. Do post your experience at Diversity Mahotsav. And please do watch all the episodes of Diversity Mahotsav on YouTube. My dear audience, we here at Avatar, we want to spotlight the shine not only on DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, but on the very essence of what it means to celebrate our human kaleidoscope. We all gather here to celebrate the beautiful melody or the beautiful orchestra that actually, eventually emerges of the different voices, the diverse people that all of us are. But the tapestry, the basic tapestry that weaves us together but not let us apart, and then creating that beautiful mosaic of different perspectives, different colors, and different stories, most importantly, that define me, you, and everybody else. Here at Diversity Mahotsav, we aim to spark that change through the conversations and create new opportunities and, if possible, redefine destinies, right? So we gather to, celebrate talents, aspirations, and experiences, but to ensure that diversity isn't just a fact of life or a check in the tick box or, anything of that sort, but is the true essence of innovation. And the incredible audience that you all are here, you are the true architects of a more inclusive tomorrow. As we turn the voltage of diversity, this is our fourth edition, which is a 15-day long sharing, a festival of sharing, learning, celebration, more importantly, because December is all about celebrations, right? All about festivals. And this is hosted through our portal called the myavatar.com, which is India's only diversity hiring portal, wherein we bring inclusive employers and aspirants from the underrepresented talent communities under one roof. And we aim to, the strategy that we have at MyAvatar is multi-pronged. To one, of course, to explore the world of opportunities that inclusive employers have to provide for, or people like you to the diverse group, and also to provide you with experiential sessions like these, to bring in success stories, to bring in skill building workshops, and to also ensure that, this is just not something that one size fits all, right? This is not something like that. There is everywhere there is a customization that is required. So once again, on behalf of Team Avatar, my name is Lakshmi Vijay Kumar. You can remember me as LV. Avatar, as you all know, is India's only firm, DEI firm that provides both implementation and strategy solutions to our company. So thank you once again for joining us at Diversity Mahotsav. So if you remember, I just spoke about, bringing in inclusive employers, wherein we celebrate the uniqueness and wherein we talk about bringing in success stories of inclusive employers. And we have one such amazing person with us. from a great inclusive company called the Ericsson. Thank you, Abhishek, for joining us today at Diversity Mahotsav. So, to give a very brief introduction to the audience who Abhishek is, Abhishek has a varied experience behind him. He, of course, is currently heading the people at GSEs and EGI and is based out of Delhi, NCR, and does complain a little bit about the fog or the smog at NCR. We understand, Abhishek, we are all with you, but diversity is what it is, right? So, Ericsson, as you all know, is a multinational networking and telecom company which is headquartered in Stockholm, Sweden. At Ericsson, Abhishek is heading the heads people, right? And Abhishek has a great experience. He's worked in FMCG, he's worked with manufacturing, ITES, media, telecom, power. He just spoke to me a little while ago in our quick catch up how he worked with HT Hindustan Times. So there was a connection that Abhishek and I kind of quickly connected since I have a media background as well. So basically, he has, I think, been there and done that all. So it's absolutely wonderful to have you, Abhishek, and the great another diversity to add to the various hats that Abhishek has done. My dear audience, he's a marine engineer. Right, he's a marine engineer and he's been in merchant navy. He was in personal management and industrial relations at he's done his course from XLRI. So I mean, I don't know what else to talk about you, Abhishek. So on that note, I'm just going to hand over the stage to Abhishek to take you through on the 5 lessons that Ericsson has learned in their DEI journey. And then we will have a small Q&A session, which he and I will interact, but then the audience, the floor will be open for question and answers. Abhishek is here to answer all your questions with respect to Ericsson. Have a great time. Over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Lakshmi, and heartiest congratulations, Team Avatar, for their 24th anniversary. Happy to be here.
Thank
I
you.
think we talked about a lot about DNI, and then what I'll be doing today, per se. I'll be taking the complete team to the Ericsson journey, a bit of demographics, the key initiatives, and then what has been learning in terms of, and the 5 big lessons as an individual leader I have learned from that. So I'll try to be as concise as possible, but yes, feel free. I think we do have a Q&A at the end of the session. I'll be happy to take more questions from the audience, and any which ways Lakshmi is there. So with this, let me talk about my presentation. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see and what I'm going to talk about it. Sorry, I think
No problem. We can see your slides, Abhishek. Yeah.
we can see the slides.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes.
So,
Over to you. Yeah.
okay, so this is the brief about the Ericsson where I work. It's a beautiful company to work with. It's 100,000 odd employees across 140 countries. I'm not going to talk more about the global piece, but yes, overall perspective, if you have to look at it, I think it is 6 campuses in India. We are present in Delhi NCR, Noida, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata. Altogether, 20,000 odd, above 20,000 odd people. But yes, in terms of when we are talking about, we invest quite a bit of our revenue in R&D. I think people keep on talking about that. What is the USP? We present the biggest network operation center. So if you have to talk about Ericsson, I mean, whenever we are talking about telecom infrastructure and services provider, the 2G, 3G, 4G, 5Gs of the world, or the technology is owned by us, and we sell it to the telecom player like Airtel, Vodafone, and MTNs of the world, Orange of the world, and they sell the top type. So this is the basic construct. I mean, but yes, being an engineering company, we have to understand that how focused we are in, because technology remains our biggest asset, and that is why 19% of the global revenue we invest in R&D. I still don't know, and that is the focus one has to learn. We have been part of. I mean, we do have close to 28,000 odd R&D employees. We have do have 60,000 patents and 100 plus licensing agreement per se. Remote delivery to 180 global customers. So this 21,000 odd people sitting here in India, they take care of it. And when I'm talking about the 4 GSCs, the GSCs which I had, Basically, it is divided into time zones: China, India, Romania, and Mexico. So that is the fourth thing. But yes, primarily I'll be discussing the demographics and the nitty-gritties of GSC India. Uh, Quick one, I think moving on to the quick one to the next slide. This is the demographic, I think, the what we do, Ericsson Global India, and we are talking about headcount. All these are on-roll employees. I'm not included anything contractual per se. Gender diversity, 22.9%. Yes, I think whenever we talk about diversity, I mean, it's not limited to gender per se, but yes, historically, focus has been on the female employees. So we stand at 22.9%. People managers, altogether out of that, close to 15% are people managers, Gen Zs and Y. This is the distribution. It's a very healthy mix because we are 21,000 odd people, out of which 94% of people are Gen Z and Gen Y. So that is something, that is the young generation and young team what we carry here. And then I think it is necessary to understand. I mean, we are talking about the Ericsson Global Services, the in terms of the journey what we have gone through. We were in 2021 starting at 20.3%. If we go back, it would have been around 17%. But yes, I think from 20.3% to 22.9% in a technology company, it has been a very healthy mix for us. Yes, our target is always to move towards 30 and 35%. That has been the target per se. Key thing is that whenever you are taking care of the DNI journey, whenever we are talking about it, it is very important. And we call in HR as people. So all my the nomenclature and everything would be not an HR manager; it will be a people manager, or a that is how we term people as. 10% we were there. Now we have reached to 14% because the key thing for me remains that if you are going to have leadership, that is going to build up the diversity per se. So, I mean, representation of diversity, particularly female at leadership position, remains our another biggest target. Now, I think before setting up the the context, I think everybody keeps on talking about DNI, DEI, whatever you call it. That what is the basic utility and why Ericsson went for this kind of approach? It can be a global nomenclature everybody is chasing, that it's a new coinage kind of thing. But yes, if you look at the research work, and that is why companies that, like us went through this, that we need to understand the what the previous past, the R&D reports talk about when they did an employee survey. I think they kept on talking about that 61% of employee bend themselves out of shape to fit in at work. I think it is something like you are trying to fit in yourself to the work per se, which is not a happy situation to be in, because that is not what you are. I think there is a huge challenge. If you try to fit in, it is not a win-win situation either for you nor for the company. Now, looking at few of the, I mean, and everybody talks about it is how it has got only the softer aspect. I can tell you, DNI has got a huge commercial aspect as well. Typical company wherein the focus is always there on people, talent, and the business perspective. But yes, historically, research suggests that whichever business has got a very highly inclusive engagement and the diversity inclusion in their strategy per se, they have got far more, nearly three times higher than operating profit than those companies they do not have. So this was the very premise, and that has been substantiated at every point in time. And I think it is another market data per se, that if it really diversity, inclusion, and they give huge aspect in terms of not only improving the market share, it also helps in improving the captured new market as well. So this is the whole construct. That is the very basics. That why companies like us, we are very progressive in thinking in terms of how we are going to build up DNI in our setup, and why, what are the key things what we should be doing. Now, I think I mean, whenever we talk about when the journey was there, and it has been evolving per se. But yes, I think largely our North Star in terms of DNI remains three-pronged approach. One remains building a culture, then enhancing the representation, and the third one remains policy benefit of support. Because unless until you make that difference, that is why it is very important for anybody to have a very definitive look that how to build on these three approaches. And that is why, I mean, for us, we keep on working under these three pillars to make that difference in our DNI journey per se. What are the key things what we have done? I mean, this is something, if you look at a very the macro level per se, I think what we have been talking about, the target has been globally that we are going to recruit 35% of all external recruitment as females. That is very important. We have also a definitive target that, I mean, whatever we recruit, 35% of all those appointments, including internal one, has to be closer to 35%. So it has been a very engaging journey for us. But yes, it is very important that what are your target? There has to be a definitive line of sight that what we want to achieve. In terms of no gap in gender pay, I think people keep on talking about it, but in Ericsson, we had gone beyond what is the gender pay gap. Typically, in a market scenario per se, you're going to find that if the team is of 10 size, and six people are male, four people are female, what is the average salary for the same role, and what is the average salary of these six vis-a-vis the rest four female participant, I mean team member on that account? No, I think what we have gone through, we have created an algorithm where it is not only the same role, we give into weightage in terms of your experience, in terms of your education, in terms of your skill set, in terms of your upskilling, what you have done, and the kind of leadership in terms of managerial skill, whatever. So it's a very complete algorithm which has been created, and very happy to say because it was done at global level per se. At India level, I mean, at aggregate level, we find that there is no gap in gender pay as far as Ericsson is India is concerned. Yes, in few roles there are few gaps which are there. Those are being corrected, but on aggregate level, in few of the roles, we have found that females are better paid than the males as well. So that is something which we have been very progressively and closely monitoring on that account. PWD hiring and LGBT hiring, I think this is something which I've been talking earlier. I was talking about that DNI is not only about gender. I think it is all about nationality in terms of, generation, PWD. I mean, you do have language. So what we focus, I think the target was that, okay, female diversity numbers, we do have definitive a plan, but we have started our journey for PWD hiring, LGBTQ hiring as well, and that has been one of the biggest focus for our talent acquisition team. Career focus, I think separate initiative for different talent groups. We are very clear. I mean, I'm a strong believer that if you give a career to people, people are not going to leave your setup. And I'm proud to say that. I mean, in terms of our attrition this year, 2024 as well, it is all time the best. Yes, the industry scenario and everything is there, but we have done something which will be best in class. I think I'm pretty sure that, come 31st December, that would be number we'll be very proud of. The kind of the initiative what we have taken under these pillars are reaping the fruit. Uh, these are the numbers. Alumni hire, internal women hire, 54% of women intern. We keep on focusing. We do have definitive plans of people who are alumni, people who are restarters. We are pretty focused on that approach. Dedicated teams have been working in the talent acquisition team to work on different segment in terms of intern hiring, alumni hiring, restarters, internal women hiring, and then equal recognition in terms of what we are talking about it. So moving on quickly, I think this is what we have been talking about. 5 lessons from DNA journey. I think this is a very interesting one. When we were discussing about it, I thought like let me talk on these lines. I think everybody talks about that what they have achieved and what was been the motivation per se. But yes, worked in different setups, different industries. My biggest these are the five different. I mean, biggest learning from me if you are going to build up on a DNI journey. I think meritocracy is non-negotiable. That has been my first lesson. I think by no means, whenever you're talking about DNI, it doesn't mean that we are favoring one set of people and not taking into account the other set of people. That's not the construct what we are talking about. I think in any journey per se, in a very progressive and competency-driven company, we believe, and that is has been our mantra per se, that there would not be any compromise in terms of merit, and that we continue to do that. Second one, I think DNI is more than women diversity. I think it is not about gender diversity. That is what we are talking about. It is very important to understand that it goes beyond only gender kind of thing. And the more we focus on one piece, people start getting, jittery about it. But yes, I think for us, and that means as an individual, I'm very clear that should not be the journey should not start and end with only gender kind of thing. There are so many other elements what I talked about: nationality, geography, language, PWG, LGBT. I mean, there are so many plethora of things what we talk about it, and that has been my second learning per se. What about third learning? Create an ecosystem for the other gender. I think it is very important. I mean, if you want to make diversity a very successful recipe for your organization, you need to create an ecosystem in terms of how the other gender and all the other segments are they are giving the necessary communication and security and having a chat. I mean, those initiatives that they feel secure about it. They should not feel threatened that okay, somebody else is being promoted just because of the gender, somebody is being given a chance just because of the physical state, or or because of geography, language, nationality per se. Unless until you create an ecosystem, holistic ecosystem, then only is going to fly. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to take a buy-in from the complete organization to drive your DNI journey per se. Fourth, DNI has to be ingrained as a part of culture. I think it should be part of everything. When you talk about culture, it is your inner values in your systems, communication, how you build up, how you think. And then, I mean, culture is all about that. Whatever I have learned, which is my personal beliefs and professional beliefs as well, it comes as a part and parcel for me whenever I am working as a professional at any workplace. I think culture is very important, and then DNI has to be ingrained in that particular piece. And last but not the least, I think smart representation and cadence is very important. I mean, whenever we talk about, I think it is not about, when I'm talking about smart, specific, measurable, articulate, realistic, and timeline. I think we do have those smart parameters and the deliveries, set targets, wherein we do have regular cadence on that account, wherein we can build up on and see what has been our success story when we put up this journey per se. So I think these are the five lessons from me in terms of DNI journey. I think it has got very strong intrinsic value. Whenever you pick up any of the pointers, then you believe that okay, it has been a journey for all of us. But yes, if you compromise on meritocracy, there would a problem. If we are focused, I mean, it is more than women diversity. It is also creating an ecosystem. You should be part of the culture, and then you need to have smart goals on all these things, or any other OKRs or KPIs, unless until you will lost in the whole journey post. Moving on, I think this is EGI workplace. I think a few of the things I'm not going to cover all the stuff, but yes, I think we are very focused at what are the key initiatives what we do. I think unconscious bias training. I think it is people do not know. I mean, whenever you are taking an interview as a manager, you are selecting employees per se. All of a sudden, you still don't know. I know somebody. I mean, one of the business head. He had a huge bias towards somebody whose eyebrows were together kind of thing. Somebody had another issue that somebody with a brown eye, that somebody is not good on that particular thing. But yes, I think whenever you are talking about unconscious bias training, if you're calling anybody and writing, I mean, if you're a mix of team and as a leader, you're telling, hey guys, I think somewhere you are just representing or you're calling out everybody, guys, not giving attention to the female team members. I mean, these are the very minute things what we are talking about it, but very practical thing. And this is something which we keep on building within our team per se, so that everybody is, I mean, if there is an unconscious bias, you will, you will, all of a sudden you will find, I mean, it's like a fourth quadrant of the Johari window per se. You don't know, other person also don't know. I think that is the mirror what we should be talking about. I think in terms of design your future, we are very clear that, okay, what are the things what do you want to do? Because many a times, whenever people are a restarter or somebody, a new audience, people from colleges, fresh graduates, they don't know. They just want an employment. And that is what I'll be also covering in my last slide per se. You should be knowing what do you want to do in that. Employee assistance program post guideline. I think India is one of the few countries that it is it has got a complete, it is a law under Visakha guideline on this account. So prevention of sexual harassment has got a place. We do have a very speak up culture on that account. We have close to 150 odd compliance officer, and then we do have our own internal complaint committee which takes care of all the POS guidelines and the harassment per se. And we are very focused on that account. I think I'm very proud to say that, I mean, we do have hardly on the numbers on these accounts, because the culture what we have built up, the respect what has been built up, it has been a very successful story. And people are very, I mean, it is time and again, it is publicized, people talk about it. And then I think anybody can reach out to one email ID, I mean, internal complaint committee or a speak up line, and people can go and register their complaint on that account, and then it is handled centrally at different places. So that has been the focus per se, and that is why I think our diversity retention, attrition, attraction too has been increasing on that, because somewhere you need to see that how has been your success story in terms of different initiative. Inclusive leadership workshop, leaning and benefit support. I think I can talk at length on this account. I think we do have maternity leave, we do have paternity leave also there for us. We do have work from home arrangement as well. We do have crèche allowance. We started, I mean, every time whenever we have worked in, I worked in different setups. Whenever you talk about any maternity module per se, the maternity module used to start once the team member joins back after maternity. What we have created a maternity model is, the moment a female team member announces her maternity, the module starts that, okay, what will be the pros and cons? What will be the role of the employee? What will be the role of the manager? What will be the role of the people business partner? What will be the role of the reviewer as well? And then what are the things which the individual should be doing? Second part of the same module is that, what I mean, we should not be losing in touch with our employees who have gone on maternity. It is like, I mean, then you go on a maternity for 6 months, and then there is no connection from the organization, and then people get jittery once they want to join back. I think this model talks about that, what are the responsibility of the employee, and the onus is there on the manager and the overall system, even for the team. It talks about that when somebody has gone during the maternity, those 6 months, 9 months, where whatever is there, what are their responsibility, and how we should be keeping in tab and updating the team member, so that she feels very much part of the organization, even if she is on a maternity leave. And I mean, third and the last part of that module remains that once somebody comes back, what are the things she should be doing, and what are the responsibility of, again, manager, reviewer, people business partners, and the individual per se. So it has been a very beautiful program, I think, liked by so many people. I think the link has gone to so many other countries outside India also, because looking at that module, that was a good win for us. We do have menopause modules as well, where we are talking about it. And also, when we I talked about, creating an ecosystem, we do have men's health and well-being program as well, because till now it has been only focused on either all the employees or the female folks. But we are focusing also that men should be also be given that kind of weightage, so that they know that we are creating an ecosystem on that account. Another unique one, neurodiversity focus. I think neurodiversity talks about basic understanding is that everybody is different. You need to have, everybody is unique. And then you need to have that particular perspective. And we We schedule trainings, we schedule seminars on that account. We call up the consultant, wherein they talk about the neurodiversity focus, wherein they can understand that everybody has a different need, different personality, and how, as an organization manager, how we can support them and understand them better, and particularly for the female employee. Not limited only to the female employee, the focus remains that. So these are the few things which we keep on talking about: diversity, including awareness, in compensation parity. I have already talked about it. Diversity works out. I think this is another unique thing, that different workouts are there, wherein in any diversity team member can go there, can see that, okay, I'm doing this role. What are the other things what I should be doing to get into another role, kind of thing? What are the other upskilling technology which are there? And it is a role based thing, but we focus only also on that account, that how we can do more. Lean in for women, it is a degree pathway. It talks about that if I'm there in the role, what are the other assigned role within the organization, what we can take care of it. Now, I think speak up. This is life at Ericsson. I think I can talk about it. I think it's a beautiful place to be in. I think the feedbacks in terms of the voices, heart from the employees. We do an employee engagement survey, and the focus remains the complete employee base. But it has been a happy journey for us. Speak up culture, I think anybody, and that is what has been the focus from the global CEO to the local leadership per se. Recognition, it is a very beautiful recognition platform, that everybody gets a chance to recognize people, and the focus is always there, that okay, what kind of recognition in terms of diversity is also being done. Career hub is basically our internal LinkedIn kind of thing, wherein anybody who wants to have a career, they need to post their resume, their profile. And career hub, like a typical search engine, they keep on, I mean, on a periodic basis will keep on showing that, because it's a very large organization. Thousands of roles keeps on opening across the world, per se, across 140 countries. You will keep on getting mailers from career hub that your profile fits in here, you would like to take a chance on that account. So these are the beautiful things what we keep on talking about it. And then Ericsson Care is there, and that is what is all about when we talking about life at Ericsson, and to build up the diversity on that account. Now, I think enough what we talked about, what we are doing in Ericsson per se. But yes, I think whenever we are talking about the audience, I think it is very important that as a HR leader, as a business leader, as a leadership team, what we look at people, and what would be our advice to future aspirants who want to restart their career, or they want to change the role, kind of thing. And then as an Ericsson, what are the key elements? I mean, and then as a professional as well, that what are the key things what we look at it, what we look at it when we are looking at those candidates who will be fitting the bill. And that is what I'm going to cover in this slide. I think the first and foremost, I think, and this is for the larger audience per se, I think be curious. I think what I was earlier talking about it, everybody wants to have a job, but they should be knowing, I think, what role they fit in, what are the key skill set they do have. It is very important that you keep on applying to thousands of job postings or Naukri, Monster, and LinkedIn, IM Jobs, or whatever, plethora of things. But you should be very clear that what role you fit in, what kind of skill set what you require. Are you ready with the necessary skills? If you're applying for a cloud role, if you're applying for a developer role, or whatever, you should be knowing that what is the JD talks about. Otherwise, you will keep on getting the disappointment that I apply, but I think the process is not transparent. My experience as an HR person has been that I think people are desperate, and they don't know what is their best proposition. There would be multiple road would be far more fitting into their portfolio, but somewhere they do have an oversight that okay, this is not there. It is like something I have done even in the past, I want to do it. I think that is not. I think it is all about a win-win for both the individual and the organization, and those people who have got that kind of clarity in their mind. That is when you're going to find a success in terms of your job search. Then you're talking about, I think you should be knowing corporate facts. I think if you know the company per se, then you will be able to present your credential far more. Anybody looking at your candidature definitely wants to see that, okay, whether somebody has got that understanding of the company or not, because that will be making life simpler for them, so that, okay, culturally somebody is fit or not. I mean, debate is always there for number of years that, okay, I mean, somebody like, I mean, somebody, when a leading manager, whenever somebody is recruiting, he or she wants to recruit somebody like themselves. It can be a mirror error per se. Again, same thing. Cultural fitment, people talk about it. It is not about culture, it is about competence. But yes, I believe cultural fitment remains a very potent criteria for anybody to be part of that culture. Unless until you understand the culture, be part of that particular culture, it will be very difficult to either make a, I mean, difference with, I mean, hit at either top line, bottom line, process improvement. That is what is there. Second, I think quickly what I'll be talking about is be a sponge. I think you have to soak so many things, and whenever you are going through a churn, you're looking for a opportunity or whatever suitability, it is might be you should be looking at internally kind of first that, okay, what are the things what I should can be doing, what are the company, what are the things which company is offering, what I understand that it is plethora of opportunity for the company employees who are working in any existing company. If they look into that, and then you need to have that, knowledge, ways of working, ways of communication, which will take you to places. That is what I can talk about it. Now, talking about get comfortable with discomfort, I think it's the whole construct is, I just want to go wherever I'm comfortable of. So somebody moving out from a college, or from from a erstwhile company, he or she carries the similar kind of mentality, and it becomes very difficult to fit into the new culture and the new systems. I think you should be flexible. You should be thinking not only from your lens, you should be also thinking from other lens, that what is the best way, unless until you are comfortable with the discomforts. And then the more you get into the discomfort, the comfort will come back. In a layman terms, if you do have a problem statement, and the more you shy away getting into the details of the problem, that problem will remain big time in front of you. I think the best solution is that you drill down to those problem statement into different fishbone, critical analysis techniques, SWOT, any technique or anything what you are comfortable of. The more you are able to grill down the problem statement, you will get a solution to each and every problem statement, and you will be a successful person. Uh, Network is very important. I think with peers, juniors, for these kind of people, it is very important that you need build up your network. Your net worth is your network. Is that is how you build up. I think in a corporate setup or any setup per se, it is very important that you need to build up your own network on that account. And last but not the least, I think have a great learning and growth mindset. People who believe that I have done an MBA, done and dusted from XLRI Jamshedpur, now I don't have to learn anything. I know everything under the garb of HR. Then Abhishek will be the most foolish person in this earth. I think it is an ever evolving situation. I think you can learn from anybody, from juniors, peers, family members, kids, everything. I think unless until you do have, and with the technology, the way things are shaping up, it is very important that you do have that particular thing in yourself, so that you can be successful. So have a very apt eye for learning and growth mindset. So these are the few things I can talk about. What are the key things what you should be looking at success. So with that, Lakshmi, I'm through with my presentation. Any questions? And otherwise, back to you.
Absolutely wonderful, Abhishek. Trust me, I was writing notes. That's why it took a few minutes for me to switch my video on, because I was busy writing the notes. It was actually like a master class, if you ask me, Abhishek. And for you to be very, very candid and saying that, okay, we don't, we many a times we work with the notion that we know it all. And for you to be absolutely candid about it and saying that, while I'm there, being the head of people at culture and everything, but trust me, people, I don't know everything like that, right? So great. I just want to start off with one thing, Abhishek, before I ask you questions, team and audience. If you didn't know what Ericsson is all about, if you're still trying to figure out what Ericsson is as a telecom company or, as a networking company, it's very simple. If you ever make a simple phone call, or if you're ever sending a simple WhatsApp message or a YouTube video if you're watching, then it's highly possible that you are using Ericsson's technology out there. So it's as simple as that. Just wanted to, while Abhishek did speak about what Ericsson does, I wanted to break it down to this so that you know what Ericsson is all about. Having said that, we know, of course, mobile penetration. To be honest, been seeing the mobile penetration from the days when NTP 91 was formulated and Sunil Mittal came in, and all of those. The Now we're talking about 5G and 4G, and that was a time when we're talking about only G, only the generation of network. So it was a beautiful era. Having come from that era, and now you're talking about hiring women, gender diversity. I remember Sunil Mittal made a presentation to the journalists many years ago, and after he finished his presentation, that once last slide that he held upon was on a person. He was an everyday labor person carrying a basket on his head and holding a phone on the other. One hand basket and a phone on the other. Those days were not the smartphones. Those days were the Nokia wala chota mobile phones. And Sunil Mittal ended his presentation saying that this is my vision for India. I think this was in sometime 2001 or 2002, if I remember. So from that vision to this vision, I think Ericsson is part of everybody's life and everybody's lives today, being the backbone of all the network. I want to know from you, Abhishek, how how does gender diversity look like in your plants, in your shop floors?
Whenever we are talking, I mean, I'll talk about the different industry journey as well,
Yes,
Lakshmi. I
yes,
think
please,
let me
please, please.
add that
Sure,
perspective. I
sure.
started with a FMCG setup.
FMCG, yeah.
And then that was a plant setup kind of thing. I
Uh,
was working with Kingfisher in Ludhiana. And then we wanted to build up diversity there as well, I think. But the hardest part of that whole issue was that, firstly, I mean, the talent was not there. Even if I wanted to recruit somebody on the soft floor, I mean, somebody with a brewing industry knowledge was a challenge per se. Yes, we could always add on the supplement job in terms of security, housekeeping, that we were building up at that. But the biggest win would have been that wherever we create that. At that point of time, I can tell you, I mean, getting a RSM or ASM as a girl was a challenge. And that too in a liquor industry, wherein the distributor and the retailer, you get to know about that. I think that is the industry and that mindset. I was very clear. I think the CEO was very clear. The global CH, I mean, the CHR was very clear. I was the management trainee perspective as a regional HR head. But we recruited. I don't want to take the name of the girl, but she did fantastically well. I'm talking about 20 years back, Lakshmi. And then again, and then that girl used to go, and that was my learning. I think three learning I'll talk about, Lakshmi. That what really gave me perspective in terms of DNA. I think that she was such a successful experiment for us, and she was so proud, and we were so proud about that, that she could handle the worst of the retailers, and that too visiting retail shop in the evening. You understand what kind of gentry people come in.
Absolutely,
That,
absolutely.
but we were very convinced that we should be doing.
And in a
Secondly,
state like Punjab.
and that too in Punjab, I mean, they don't consider beer as a liquor. That is a water for them, and kind of, I think, kudos to them. I think, but I tell you, Lakshmi, the biggest in terms of the numbers, the per capita consumption of beer was highest in Tamil Nadu rather than in Punjab. Okay,
Okay.
now coming back, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
let me come back on
Yes,
that
yes,
account.
please, yes.
Now, coming back to media perspective,
Okay.
full of editorial was full of females and kind of thing. But again, challenge was what to do with the distribution and the soft floor people kind of stuff. So that was another thing per se. But yes, my learning was always there that wherever editorial was one of the most beautiful place and very competitive place because people from all diverse, you know backgrounds were there. As an HR, if you are going and trying to convince people, you need to have metal to convince educated and diverse thing. Then the learning was that you need to have a very clear cut vision. You don't walk up to a lady sub editor, editorial in chief, that I'm giving you this position because you are a diversity. I mean, the pan reply would have come, sorry, it I'm there because of my competence first. And that was another learning first. But yes, coming back, I think it has been a journey for us. I mean, the biggest, I mean, learning another DNI, I think 4 years back, I
Mhm.
think MACD across all Delhi NCR units. I
Mhm.
think I visited five or six, all of them one run by special abled people,
Oh, okay.
and that was huge. And one McDonald's near my place, it was run by people who were mute. I mean, they can't see it. Only one two support was there, but people were so patient and supporting because they did have their own thing. But that was a learning for me, that why not? I think we should be able to do that, and that's been the focus when we are looking at DNI in Ericsson per se. We are going beyond a diversity only. I think we are looking for PWD, LGBTQ, everything across the board. And it is not about, you know, what we are doing. It is very important. I think it is very important for us to understand that, array of things people are talking about in terms of when you're talking about DNI perspective, in terms of talent, leadership, business, what is there. So it has got a very different element altogether, and that is what is making the difference, Lakshmi.
Awesome, awesome. I think you know what, I'm going to get my team to pick modules of each of your responses and have them as one separate masterclass for each of the questions that I'm going to be asking you, Abhishek. Thank you so much. You spoke about the lessons that you've learned from your personal journey of being in, having experienced in different industry, FMCG, ITES, media, telecom, and also Ericsson's DEI, a journey as such. But I want to ask you, what were there any particular challenges that you faced when you began implementing DEI initiatives across Ericsson?
The journey has not been a seamless affair, Lakshmi.
Mm.
I can tell you. Everybody questions, and that is what people question, that are you reserving this? Is
Uh,
a diversity and inclusion a reservation what we are talking about, compromising on the meritocracy per se? And it is something about, in their mind, the subconscious bias is always there. Nobody thinks that even in Indian population, the gender ratio is nearly 50-50 between male and female.
mm,
Then why we are only the working population in rural segment? For today's in news report suggests that 42% of participation is there in the rural part in terms of labor. But that's why that is not coming in corporate per se. Again, few mindset, this is not meant for girls. She
mm,
cannot do it. Trust me. You talk about anything. You go to any of the pilots. I mean, commercial pilots. I'm talking
mm,
about. I mean, right now the intake. I know how much they are taking. Nearly 45% of the future pilots would be diversity cases.
mm.
So I think we need to. I think even right now, the challenges are there. That okay, you have to change the mindset. So
Yeah.
that is why I'm correlating my answer to my lesson. Unless until you create an ecosystem and you give that security to the other gender, that nothing is going to happen. You guys are secured, and it is all competency driven. Try to understand that what we are trying to do is not taking away anything. When we implemented SAP 20 years back, everybody said that all jobs gone. Now AI, ML, everything is gone. Nothing. Human species has got the largest brain in the world. They will evolve and they will create another piece. So it is all about notion. It is all about that. So I'm pretty convinced in my journey that, okay, this is something which we'd be looking at it with a very positive mind. Obstacles would be there. We need to build up. I think consensus is very important and communication, Lakshmi, to every segment.
Thank you for that reaffirmation, especially when everybody is talking about how AI is going to take away many jobs, and especially particularly from women. So thank you so much for that affirmation. Talking about biases, Abhishek, when you were going through your presentation, I don't know if I heard you right, but you did say non-conscious bias. Did you say that?
Unconscious bias.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Because we at Avatar, we don't call it unconscious bias because when you're unconscious, you're unconscious. There is nothing that is there in your mind, you're absolutely blank. But then these are biases, like you just spoke about the notions and stereotypes. They're all built somewhere in our minds and, non-consciously. You never consciously built it. Unconscious is something that, okay, you're unconscious, which means you're absolutely lost your consciousness. So thanks for bringing that up. In fact, our training is also called as non-conscious bias NCB training. We don't call it unconscious bias anymore at Avatar. Thank you so much for bringing that up. So you spoke about the challenges, Abhishek. Is there any particular initiative that you began and you're particularly proud of?
Lakshmi, the biggest thing what we have done is that we have created a cohort
Mhm.
wherein we are talking about the competence among the DNI people.
Okay.
I think it is an open challenge, and what we are showing that whenever we are creating a competition,
Mhm.
I give you another Lakshmi. I think you take out any year for last 15, 20 years, 10th exam result,
Mhm.
12th exam result, or any result. After that, they
Very
fade
good.
out. I think girls always do
Good.
better than the boys.
Absolutely.
I think somewhere in the education system, we have to think, we have to know that what happens after 12th, that
Mm.
why only 15% of girls are there in IITs, now it is increasing. So same thing. My biggest learning was that we do have few competitions, what we do it, and we publish that on a merit, it is open for everything. On a merit, how the majority are the diversity candidate to give that messaging to the larger audience that given a chance, equal opportunity is given. I think they are not lesser than anybody else. I think that messaging, I still believe a few pockets. I can't give you more details of those initiatives because those are the
Correct.
confidential data kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Fair enough.
But
Fair
yes,
enough.
I think we have been publishing those
Mhm.
success story to everyone. I'm not going to give about yes, but that
Okay.
success story in our newsletter is giving in that messaging that how we have been focused on that.
Thank you, Abhishek. In fact, we're talking about opportunities. Yes, in fact, that's one of the pillars at My Avatar, the hiring portal that we have, and you're also part of our initiative at My Avatar, wherein what we try to do at My Avatar is bring employers, inclusive employers like you, and the talent based on meritocracy, like you said, not on just because there is a tick box over there, together under one roof, so that you find the right talent and they find the right employer for themselves. So that's the whole objective. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I have a ton loads of questions, but I also see a few coming up in the chat box. So I think I should give it to the audience. Obstacles, Janani, I don't know who else has asked it. Abhishek has already answered it. But I'm going to ask this question, Abhishek. She's asking, you did touch upon accommodating a big array of strands in DEI. How can companies prioritizing DEI do justice to all of them? And how do you juggle without causing friction? Wow, that's a tricky one. Yes.
So
Thank you.
whenever we are setting, thank you. It's a good, very good question. I think whenever we are talking about setting up the array of the whole thing, so I think what we are very clear that what we want to achieve per se. I think the ecosystem, what we talk about it, and the contribution, what people are talking about it. We don't compromise on it. Ultimately, it is a company. We have to pay salaries for 100,000 employees every month on that account. You know, unless until a company is not able to do it, we'll be sinking in. So those perspectives are very clear that we do not compromise, and then we need to again like a balanced scorecard approach. You do have a business aspect, customer aspect, process aspect, and the people aspect. So if we look at with that particular lens, I think we balance it out and we are very vocal. I think communication, to her question, communication and building up confidence in the whole system is very necessary, that how to build up, and that is how we have been able to juggle between this, and that has been the journey from 14% to 22%. Now few companies, FMCGs, are going through because they do have roles on those kind of thing. We do have that, and we are challenged by historically when we talk about is a telecom engineering background. I think
Mhm.
for 4 5 years, you're going to find all the coaching institute with science STEM girls are taking it. Prior to that, and that has been our challenge, where to find more talent. So I think this is how we have been very open. Again, coming back to the same thing, it is about communication and building up the trust and showing the success to people to get to know what is the best for the organization. And there is nothing, I mean, it's all about on merit.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, one of the other initiatives that we did last year was conducting a large format career conference called Mahotsav Career Conference, which was held in Bangalore. And the focus was on women in STEM. And like you rightly said, so we did see that we do have statistics and data that points that we have girls joining in college in the STEM, and they also kind of finish their college, their tertiary education, absolutely with flying colors. However, the representation when it comes to at companies, we see that dropping down. Of course, maternity, marriage, mobility, all of those things are part of it. We can maybe that's a discussion for another day. I will take one last question from the audience, and then I have another question, which is a visionary question for you, Abhishek. So there is another question which says, in the leadership levels across industry, there is still need a better representation. We just spoke. How is Ericsson tackling it, and how did that approach vary between regions? Not just India or any other region. Yeah.
I think, Lakshmi, globally, 2 years back, our CEO was very clear that it should be a consistent approach. DNI, I had 4 GSC. So my DNI percentage in China, Romania, Mexico historically is far better than India on that account, the current count on that account. Okay. But the biggest challenge globally remains in terms of further leadership position on that. So what was globally understood, and that was a mandate coming from the global CEO and the executive team, that 35% of our intake now onwards in the leadership position has to be female. And we were very clear, we did not write diversity. I think it was female because somewhere we were faltering. Every company were faltering and we are trying to catch up. And in India, I'm telling you, I think last year we did it 32%. I'll be touching 35% by December, whatever said and done. But yes, I think I'll give you one story, Lakshmi. I was struggling big time with one of the unit, which has got a shift, night shift, and everything, and there is a challenge. I think I can understand from that. Every time I used to push that how we can increase the diversity, the push used to come no. I mean, we can't do it. There is no market. There is no talent. Nobody wants to join us, and kind of thing, and all those stuff. Then we handed over the leadership of that particular team to a female leader. And trust me, within 1 year, the whole team rose from by 80%, the diversity. I won't give the numbers. So I think it is about mindset that a lady came in and then she was very clear that if I'm able to do it, why you guys have got so much thing? And then all the ecosystem started working, all the talent came in, people could come in night shift and everything. So that has been the learning. It is all about mindset, I think. And leadership position, we are very clear. Unless until people are there, female leaders are there, or diverse candidates are there, it gives a huge impetus to build up your vision on DNA.
Yes, absolutely. It builds the three cases that we talk about, the talent, business, and culture. So it kind of weaves beautifully in the tapestry over there. So one final question before we close the session. I think we're almost close to the time. So maybe I'm just going to wrap the two questions together for you, Abhishek. One, of course, what are Ericsson's future DEI goals and how do you plan to achieve? But finally, before we wrap up, I want to know your perspective on how does a career in marine engineering to HR leadership has changed your journey in DEI and your 18 or 20 years of journey across so what is that one personal just one lesson, like a rapid fire, you could perhaps do it, that has stood out for you? But we'll start with Ericsson's future goals on DEI.
Focused, Lakshmi. We want universally, I mean, few countries by the case history, by culture kind of thing, they are pretty okay on that account. But our focus is very there. And then I think diversity, equity, and inclusion, all three of them per se. And then we should be very clear that we should be having a very balanced approach on that account. We should be going beyond gender kind of thing and bring up that balanced approach so that it is a healthy mix across the board, across geography, across countries, so that it is a win-win thing. Last question. I think the biggest learning for me from Merchant Navy, wherein nobody used to go. I think in my last, when I was in fourth year, the first year, one girl came in to do Merchant Navy engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and that is was something long back on that account. Crowded, and then since then, the whole change is there. It is all about belief and then challenging the tradition. I think because it happens, it will happen. My personal belief is that you should be always be asking, be inquisitive and asking and challenge the status quo, that why I can't do it, why it can't be changed, why somebody who is starting a new career after maternity sees as good, as brilliant as anybody. Why to have that? I think I'm very clear on that account, that we should be having that conviction in that. And I think everybody, I mean, it will be a win-win for the employee, employer, and everybody.
Wonderful, Abhishek. I think I would love to have this conversation continued for another half an hour. Absolutely wonderful and inspirational. And there are so many other questions that are just bursting in my mind. Perhaps another webinar or another forum for us to engage with, Abhishek. Look forward to engaging with you and Ericsson on many various other forums. Audience, quickly, two takeaways from Abhishek. At least these are my personal takeaways, Abhishek. One, you said get comfortable with discomfort. I think was a beautiful statement that Abhishek made today. Please come out of your comfort zone. I think we all are very used to our comfort zones. Only when you move out of your comfort zone, you know where you are, and you realize your own potential, because you never realize what you are worth and what your value is unless you get out of your comfort zone. So get comfortable with discomfort, being discomfort, and challenge the status quo. I think these are two beautiful takeaways for me today personally. Of course, many other data, metrics, and so much that Abhishek spoke about. वो सब कहाँ जाएगा, हमारे पास ही रहेगा. So thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining us today on the fifth day of Diversity Mahotsav 2024.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Take care.
Thank you, Abhishek. And he's available on chat. You can always, reach him. And of course, My Avatar is another forum where if you have any questions, please reach out to us there. We will connect you with Abhishek for any questions that you have. I hope we can do that, Abhishek. I just spoke on your behalf. Thank you.
Surely, Lakshmi. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye,
Thank you,
Abhishek.
everyone. Bye. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Wasn't that such a beautiful, beautiful and an inspirational conversation? Thank you so much, audience, for joining us today. And we do have a great lineup in the next couple of weeks, from panel discussions to, various workshops and skills, or every moment that we are curating is exclusively for you. Thank you for your wonderful participation. We would like to take a break here for the weekend, but once we return on Monday, we have a very diverse and an interesting panel titled Setting Boundaries, Prioritizing Mental Health and Well-Being for Women. This is going to be, I'm sorry, an absolutely interesting panel with diverse backgrounds. We are going to find out, how in this fast-paced world where women often find themselves navigating a very delicate balance between their professional aspirations, personal responsibilities, and not to forget the societal expectations. And amidst all of these things, when they cut across these systemic barriers, when they do all of these things, somewhere their mental health and their well-being is something that they keep it in the back burner. So we will figure out how we can achieve that. And we have a diverse set of speakers. We have Vanita Agarwal, who is the lead digital engagement practice. Can we have the slide, please, my technical team? I'm sorry, I know I slipped a slide, one or two before I got into the last slide. So I'll come back to this before I speak about the Monday's panel. Yes, please scan the QR code, and you can watch all our Diversity Mahotsav episodes on this YouTube channel of ours, and use our hashtag slides, which is Diversity Mahotsav and celebrating diversity hashtag. Do not forget the hashtag. And if you're already registered at myavatar.com, fantastic, wonderful. And if you haven't, please do log into myavatar.com. And myavatar.com is a portal wherein we have wonderful things exclusively curated for you. Please log on or scan the QR code to register on the portal, so that you are part of all the sessions and you're totally updated on the various offerings that we have at myavatar.com. And now, again, I would like to take a moment to thank our partners, our innovation catalyst, EPAM, Systems, supporting sponsors, Crystal, Genesis, and supporting sponsor, Zuchi Systems. Yes, again, before we close on for the weekend, we will have the speaker slide for Monday. We have some great speakers. We have Vanita Agarwal. Can you move the slide, please? We have Vanita Agarwal, lead digital engagement practice from from EPAM Systems. We have Dr. Uttara Sridhar, who is a guest professor at BITS Pilani, and she's also a counseling psychologist. And Sandhya Ramesh, senior director HR at Aptiv. Moderating this absolutely wonderful set of women with diverse backgrounds is our very own Rashmi Ravindran, who is the AVP for online services at Avatar Group. Do not miss this episode out on Monday. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, audience, for being absolutely wonderful. Before we close, I would like to request my team to pull up the feedback. Please do give your feedback because that is your return gift to us for the month of December, which is our celebratory month. Please provide answers. Keep it very short. We want you to rate the overall session management on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, and the speaker's ability to engage. Again, on a scale, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. And the content that was shared today, which was absolutely thrilling and amazing. Again, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. And then finally, please do let us know if the session met your expectations. Yes or a no is an answer, a quick answer. And if you do have any suggestions that could have made this session better, or if you have any topics that you would want to hear from us in our future sessions, please do let us know on this feedback, and we will be happy to incorporate that in our future episodes of Diversity Mahotsav. On that note, thank you very much, my dear audience. It was absolutely wonderful hosting you all. Signing off today is Lakshmi Vijay Kumar, and we will meet you on Monday. Till then, stay safe, take care, bye-bye.